And what is up, everybody? It is Chris Akin back once again with Mr. Erik Ferentinos for another edition of Chris Akin Presents. And my God, looks like I'm being replaced on the show here. It looks like somebody stepped in at the beginning to audition for the show. So hello, Erik, and welcome, of course, Mr. Drew Fortier of the Lucid, of formerly of Bang Tango, of movie screen, books, everything. That, you know, he's the king of all media. It is Drew Fortier.
I would go that far.
You're like, I get that label too sometimes, Drew, and I've accepted the king of all ghetto media because I'm like the poor man's media guy, but you like write legitimate stuff, so
I'm just a victim of circumstance.
No question, man. Well, dude, we got a lot to talk to you about, and before we do that, hello, Erik. We didn't even get to say hello to you.
Hello, Mr. Chris. We're a three-piece now, man.
We are. There's Motorhead and there's us.
Two drummers and a guitarist. That'd be a new kind of style.
Exactly. Well, Erik, before we talk about the Lucid, let's start with you. You obviously spent the weekend playing some shows with Steven and I believe Vince Neil. No?
That is correct.
How'd
we
that
were in Tempe, Arizona. We did a show with Vince Neil, and then we headed over to Palm Springs to do another show with Vince Neil, and they're both well attended. Crowd loved it. I actually am going to do an unboxing later in the show.
Okay.
Because I got all these guys, including Vince Neil and Stephen Piercy, to help me out with something that I'm going to unbox later.
All right.
And show everybody, but they'll have to wait and watch the show to find out what that is.
Wow. Big tease. That's right. Well, speaking of unboxing stuff, man, we're going to be unboxing the 80s today. What a lot of bands we've got being featured here today. Of course, we have Drew, who has been in Bang Tango and is in the Lucid, and I don't know if he's revealing or not, but might have something else that he's working on musically that I'm aware of. Well, then we've got Great White Past and Present, as we will have Terry Ilous on, and we will have the current singer, Brett Carlisle, on to talk about a third project called All or Nothing that those guys are both working on. And then we will have Keith St. John on, who is the lead singer of Kingdom Come. He's been the lead singer of Lynch Mob. He's been the lead singer of Montrose. And he has another band called Desert something.
Desert Mirage?
Desert, what is the name of the band? Desert Dragon.
Desert.
God, I'm glad I fucked it up now and not when he's on.
But yeah, I know you're right about the Ilous.
Is it Ilous now?
Yeah, because I saw Sullivan Big, which apparently we have the same agent, and he had mentioned him, and I'm like, oh, so I got to confirm.
Yeah, good, because
it sounds like elusive, but it's like that's how I try to remember it.
Small world thing about that is I've been doing work for Sullivan for about the past 10 years, and I did the promo video for Piercy and Vince Neil for the Talent Buyers.
Oh, look at that.
Well, thank you, Drew. It was a success, man. Your work paid off.
That's great to hear. I mean, it's Vince Neil and Piercy. You can't go wrong with that. I could have just been stick figures that would have sold.
Well, you would have had to have one fat stick figure and one skinny one. But I can say it. You guys can't. You guys who still work with these guys can't say it, but I can. But well, dude, let's dig into the Lucid, man. You guys, as you're well aware, I'm a huge fan, and there's the new one, Saddle Up and Ride.
That's that's the jewel case.
Look at that.
And I got the singles too. These are, I didn't promote these, only on Bandcamp, but just about every single song got a single.
Oh, I didn't get one.
Oh, you'll get one. There's the Saddle Up and Ride.
Look at that.
There's Risk Machine. So merchandising. There's Mumps.
Wow, look at all those.
And the Sweet Tooth, the very divisive Sweet Tooth.
Very nice. All right, now first question I've got for you, Drew. On the last one, as you may or may not remember, but I was like the lone journalist that picked up the pattern to the cover art.
That's right.
I have looked, because I'm a psycho, at every single piece of cover art so far that you've released, and I cannot find a pattern on these new
I
ones.
did that on purpose just because of you, Chris Aiken.
Is there a pattern or is there no pattern this time?
No pattern, to be honest with you. Alex Sarabia did the Saddle Up and Ride artwork, and the other ones, I'm not going to lie, was AI. And
you did it with AI?
Yeah.
What did you use? I'm curious. What did you use?
Ellison actually turned me on to it because he did it with one of his other bands that hasn't come out yet. But it's this thing called Midjourney. And it's like a Discord thing, and you there's like a special way you got to use it, and you just type in like a phrase, and then it pops it out, and it's yours to use like for free. You just got to sign up. It's like $10 a month or something.
Wow.
But it's I just typed in Violent J, Sweet Tooth, the Lucid, and
that's what came out.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing. Like to do it. Same thing with Risk Machine and Mumps.
It's the coolest thing, but for both of you two, it's got to be the scariest thing known to man. If they could start producing art like that fast.
My question is, does the singer from Mudvayne know that you're using his face on the cover?
Right? Yeah, it does. It does look like him, doesn't
it? That's Chad, right?
Yeah,
Chad Gray. Yeah,
Chad Gray. That's weird, though. I mean, I'm under the belief that people put that in there, like a human put that in there, and the AI is just spit out. What do you think? How do you think it allocates to you?
I think it's like a collection of art from artists that put it up for this Midjourney thing. There's like just a vast
So a human designed that face, though.
Right. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. I think so. I think the face probably exists in this framing, and then there's some fur on it too. So that might be from like an AI thing or just something like that. I'm sure there's like all kinds of layers on top of it.
Or the background changed. That was a random trippy thing.
Or do you think I'm gonna throw the wrench? Do you think that maybe there was like pictures of Violent J in there? And it starts with that, and then morphs out with the tooth and the teeth, and
that's the thing. There was about 4 or 5 different versions of this one that looked similar but different. Okay. And some of the ones did have the Violent J kind of pattern on it, and I could show you. I just got to find it, but it's pretty cool just to kind of, and then you could have it do a revision upon one of the tries at it, and then it kind of expands on that and keeps on going and going and going. And so this one is maybe the 3rd or 4th pass, but yeah, it looks like a Juggalo panda or something.
Jeez, oh man, dude, we are 10 years from being completely expendable. I mean, really, the computers. I swear, I was playing. I've been using AI a little bit for YouTube descriptions and YouTube titles, just because it's so simple. I just especially because between this show and CMS. I got to do 10 a week. Is five cuts from this show, 5 cuts from CMS, and it gets a little, repetitive on this episode of the Classic Metal Show. Neely and Chris talk about blah 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 blah. It's standard bullshit, and I want it to sound unique. So I literally I'm using that what is it called? OpenAI, chat.openai.com.
Really?
Or whatever, and I just type in, give me an assertive YouTube description about the following 2 sentences, and I'll write
assertive and strongly worded.
Yeah, and that's what I write, and then I'll put in. We talked about the Journey lawsuit, and we talked about Violent J performing with the Lucid, whatever, and it comes out with, "Don't miss this thrilling new episode of the Classic Metal Show, which features an amazing discussion about the Journey lawsuit."
You're hired.
It's crazy. So then I take what it spits out, and then I write, give me a view or an eye-catching description under 60 characters for YouTube that's based on this paragraph. And then I paste in the paragraph it just wrote me, and then it gives me like the Journey lawsuit, who's gonna be affected most, and it's like,
it's amazing.
It's nuts how it works, and it's nutty, but it's scary as hell because, you know, I'm all like, I'm learning about this AI. I've only really gotten into it recently, but the more I see about it, there's like people that are now selling books and stuff on Amazon that are written by AI. They say they literally use a program like this and they say, give me 20,000 words on how to write HTML code.
Whoa.
And it just spits out 20,000 words, and they put a fancy cover on the front of it. And if they're using an AI that has a, you know, commercially licensed, they can sell it as their own work.
That's fun and frightening at the same time.
That's what I mean. It's like we're so expendable here, and
AI podcasts.
Once
pretty soon it's going to be, hey, Chris Akin, what do you think about this?
Yeah, dude, they're making music. Have you heard some of the full AI songs?
I heard of it. I think a while back there was like a Metallica one.
It's like Metallica-esque, but it sounded decent. It's really, really, really scary when you think about that this shit is going on, man. It's
not that hard to do music, I don't think, because if it has the time signature and the keys, there's, you know, there's a method to music, you know, that it can actually at least overlap stuff that would make sense because it's in the same key or a relative key that would work and things like that. But as far as like writing lyrics that made sense or melodies in that respect, I don't know.
I bet it could. I bet you could tell it to write lyrics that fit 4/4 time about my dog dying or something, and it would absolutely spit you out a country song. I'll bet you it would.
Maybe you're right. You know, I guess it happens though, stuff randomly. We've always had games like that too, that just you scramble the words and it just randomly kind of makes trippy stuff sometimes. But could it make hit after hit that resonates with people? I don't know.
Well, who knows? I dude, the real scary part about this whole thing right now is it's so new. So,
and I'm sure we're not too far off from the first AI hit.
Yeah, that's
going to be interesting.
Well, I mean, and will it be like a Milli Vanilli type deal? Will there even be real people involved?
They did try that AI. What? Not AI. It was that virtual Ozfest that failed miserably.
Yeah, well, but again, they didn't promote it well enough. I think.
Yeah,
I think if they would have promoted it and made it free and made it, you know, 6 months of promotion leading up to it and said, yeah, plus a new song from Ozzy or something.
Right. Yeah. Because it seemed like they just had like the virtual audience and they just played music videos or something, didn't they?
Yeah. That's all it was. But if they would have made there be a reason to watch it anyway, which is what I think they failed to do. If they would have said, yeah, it's going to be performed by, it wasn't Ozzy was like the main guy. I think that was like the big AI.
It's Motorhead or something.
Yeah, but if they would have said like Motorhead just released an unreleased song
right.
Last week or something. If they would have released it in that format and said, you know, for the first time ever, you can hear this song, I think people would have watched it. And then some people would have absolutely been like, you know, yeah, I'll watch this. You know, or it's not as bad, or you know how
it had. There was a reason behind it.
Yeah,
you know, there's some kind of purpose.
That's like I'm pulling up a picture right now as we speak. I'm talking in. Look at this picture, and it's a little racy, people. So some people may not like this picture, but whatever. It's not. Is
it of me?
No. Okay. It's of three bikini girls, and I'm going to show you this because these girls do not exist. They are 100% AI.
That's crazy.
That's insane, right? That is absolutely like, wow. If you
upon further examination, though, I mean,
it's
heads look pretty photoshopped and weird.
It's a little goofy, but I mean, if you were just passing by and you said, "Hey, I was hanging out at the beach and I met Stephanie, Crystal, and Joanne here. Aren't they hot?" As a flash pass on Facebook, you wouldn't think twice about that. They're like real people, would you?
Not in a quick flyby.
That's what I mean. And if they can do that in a quick flyby, how long is it before that turns into video, CGI? It's not that far off. It's really, really spooky, scary, I think.
There was something I saw. It was like a AI created what could have been a 1985 David Cronenberg movie, and it was just still shots from this movie that never existed.
Sure.
And it looked like it was from a David Cronenberg movie that never came out.
Good Lord. Maybe that's your new future, Drew. I know you've gotten to where you hate doing movies. Maybe that'll bring you back in if you don't have to do any casting or anything. You just say, give me a 3-minute scene with a guy murdering a girl because she said this. Boom.
I'm into it.
Now you'll be right back in the movie game, right?
I will.
You don't want to be making those searches, though.
No, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
yeah, true. You'll make a bunch of movies and then you'll be arrested for being a serial killer or something.
An AI serial killer.
Nice. Well, let's loop this back around, man. Let's loop it back around to the Lucid. Certainly, I'm gonna make an observation, and you can tell me I'm wrong, you can tell me I'm right, and that's fine. I thought that you guys, given the reality of it was David's first project after the shenanigans of 2 years ago, I guess it's been now, or a year and a half ago, whatever it is. I thought that that with the release of the album, you guys were making a lot of progress. I thought it was better received than I thought it would be. I mean, I honestly thought it was just going to be nonstop cum jokes. Honestly, I mean, that's really what I thought was coming. And I thought it was received pretty well. Let's start there before I go further with this. But is that kind of what you and the band's reaction was when the album was released and just when the album was first put out?
But, we didn't know what to expect because it was just so odd as far as it's David Ellison and the singer of Sponge. It's like, what's that going to sound like, kind of thing. And it seemed like the oddness of that kind of maybe outshined everything else just a tad bit. And it seemed like people really got a kick out of it. And we were, we were just happy to do it together. And whether it just died on delivery, we were just happy to have done an album together like that. And so, so either way, it was just like the plan was if people like it, we'll keep it going. We'll put out more singles, maybe a couple music videos, and then eventually shows. And if they don't like it, hey, here's the album. Here's the one single, and it shall live on as whatever people want it to be.
Right.
And then it got as far as the shows, and then I got the cancer.
And that's where we come to is then you obviously had a major health issue, and I mean, I'll let you talk about it. I will say it stunned me. When you told me originally, I was like, holy fuck. I was like, this cannot be happening. And obviously on a friend's level first, obviously on the friend's level, I was like, man, do not let this happen to one of my boys. But then after that, then it was like, you guys were like I felt like you were right on the cusp of really breaking the band and you had to stop. And, so kind of maybe fill in the blanks a little bit for yourself there on, the health and where you are. And, if you feel like you're picking it back up again and starting over or what?
Yeah, it was crazy and absolutely frightening too. And it all, found out I had testicular cancer I think it was about a month before the shows were supposed to happen. And yeah, it was still thinking back on it. It was just a blur that even up until the surgery in late May. But up until that point, there was a ton of momentum, for sure. And we were just super excited to actually, play. We still haven't played a note of music together to this day. But I found out I had the cancer, and then it all just happened at the worst possible time. Obviously there's no good time to get something like that, but then we had to cancel the shows, and and it was everybody else was Dave, Ben, and Mike were of course super cool and loving, and they're there for me throughout that whole thing, and then it just kind of turned into just whenever I'm ready again to start doing stuff, and I had the surgery in late May. They removed the right testicle, so I still got the other one. But I feel like exactly how I felt beforehand, though, and it's the craziest thing. It's just
You're not walking to one side or the other.
not that I've noticed. Not that I've noticed, but maybe I am. But and yeah, and then what? And it was just kind of waiting for the right time just to pick everything back up and to be like, okay, what's because we were going to put out this EP
Right.
as a surprise thing, like the week before the shows happened, because it's been done for that long, pretty much.
Right.
And so we just kind of sat on it until we found the right pocket of time to put it out. And that was, what was it? December was the Saddle Up and Ride, the first single.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of just played it by ear, and just we literally just about every song from the EP we put out as a single. So it's kind of like a big joke. It's like everybody, it's like, why even buy the thing if you can hear it for free now?
Yeah. But that's the business now.
Oh yeah.
Honestly. But so in a way, and not necessarily the best way, but in a way, it was good that you had this material, because it actually, without having to do, jump through hoops in order to restart the band, you already had a piece of product that you could kind of luckily just put out and say, okay, well, here we still are, and we're still moving forward, and bang, there it is. Yeah,
and it kind of makes it a real thing, because like so many projects exist in just one album or like one EP and all that, and then to kind of get past that and like, hey, here's something different, here's something else from the same group of people, and we yanked in a friend, and to get us on a couple tunes, and it's and for this we all kind of realized it's only worth doing if we could just do something just that interests us, that kind of is a bit off the wall.
Right.
And with this, it starts off with the country song, and it goes into a thrash song, then it goes into a funk metal song, and then it just kind of goes a little bit all over the place. So that kind of excited us about the whole thing, and especially with the Violent J guesting at 2 songs.
Sure. Well, let's talk about that, man. I mean, I love it personally, but I'm an ICP fan. So for me, it's like, bring that on. I can understand though that because they're so polarizing, just ICP in general, regardless of what they do, because they're so polarizing, that's kind of a big jump, especially with I mean, let's be honest, most of the fan base of the Lucid is metal fans because of Ellefson, because of Mike. Really, the bulk comes from those 2 guys, I'm assuming. I mean, I'm sure Vinny brings in his share of people too, but obviously the Ellefson and the Fear Factory people and the Raven people and whatnot are metal people, which does not play nicely with the Juggalo world often. Yeah. So, how, I'm assuming it comes from Vinny, but how does the Violent J come into it? How do you convince him to come outside of his pretty comfortable cocoon of the Juggalo world? Yeah,
Violent J, he's just so good at being himself, if that makes sense. It's it was all through Vinny. Like they're all friends, like from coming up in Detroit together, pretty much. And Vinny actually guested on the last ICP album on a T'Pau cover, Heart and Soul. And
Jesus.
Yeah. And so from that, it's like, okay, the Violent J is obviously on the same wavelength with this kind of just, and he's loving, he's having a good time, and he's a wonderful human being for sure. And we just kind of hit it off, and he's getting a lot of press for it too, like a lot of positive stuff, sure. which I'm sure feels different from always being looked at a certain way for the past 30 years,
right?
Because he is so good at being himself. And
do you think that him being involved in this is in some way maybe like a step toward him trying to develop away from ICP? And what I mean, and I don't mean he's leaving ICP as much as I know I've read that Shaggy has like heart problems and stuff, and has said he's not going to tour anymore, at least as much. And, he's going to worry about his health now more than he's going to worry about, ICP.
That was actually Violent J. He had the heart failure.
I thought it was Shaggy that had it. Was it Jay?
Yeah.
Oh,
He had heart failure and everything, and I think his whole thing was to do less touring, like
Okay.
this. I don't know if it's true, but it just seems like he got diagnosed with that right when the pandemic happened, sort of around that
Okay.
time, and ICP were just going nonstop for 30 years.
Right.
And then the train just kind of came to a halt, and it kind of seemed like when you got that much momentum going and you put a brake on it, I'm sure a lot of things catch up with you.
Yeah.
And so it seems like that. I don't know if that's true, but as far as the timeline, that would make sense. But I know he definitely not doing any major tours, like shows here and there, like the Gathering and Hello
Mhm.
Wicked and all that stuff and everything. But yeah, it seems like he's sort of wanted to expand a bit, to be taken seriously as an artist in a different
Sure.
A little
life.
less violent, maybe.
Right.
Less violent, Jay.
Yeah, now he's non-violent, Jay. Nice. Well, dude, for you guys, do you, how do I put this? I just put it. Do you worry that some of the crazy that comes with ICP now comes to the Lucid when you guys start playing live, even if Jay's not with you? Do you worry that, look, I've been to quite a few ICP shows and I've thrown quite a few punches and kicks and elbows at ICP shows.
We were
I
going to
mean,
dress up like ICP tonight,
we were,
and I kind of forgot that we were going to.
Oh, that would have been great.
We absolutely were.
But it would have been bad, but because he didn't show up, so
Yeah.
then we would look like dummies.
Yeah, then we would have looked stupid. But well, then we would have just said we were the cover of the single. But no, do you worry about that at all? That some of the crazy will come out to wherever you're playing?
No, I mean, you just kind of take it as it comes. I think it'll be fun and interesting to see what who would show up at a Lucid show for sure.
Yeah.
And probably a lot of flannels and a lot of makeup.
Well, see, here's the thing. I think a lot of people might come out specifically just to buy the merch. Because who sells more merch than those guys?
That's true. That's true. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that would be. I mean, yeah, and it's crazy because we still haven't played a show yet, but you know, we'll get there one day.
Yeah, where are we with that? Is there? I mean, the worst thing that I see out of this whole thing is that now all of a sudden David is super busy. He's got Dieth, he's got Kings of Thrash, he's got, you guys have an EP. I believe there's another project on the two in the pipeline as well. It's like he went from being committed 100% to the Lucid to, he's got to do his thing. And like all of a sudden now he's like super, super busy.
Yeah, it's funny. It was right after I was recovering from the cancer thing and all that. But even before that, I helped him reconnect with Jeff Young.
Okay.
And, remember when we were doing Lucid music videos in December of 2021, Dave had to get back to Arizona, and Jeff Young met me and Mike up at Mike's studio.
Okay.
And it was our first time meeting Jeff, and just
Right.
And it was wonderful, and it was great. And I remember I was like, hey, Dave, Jeff's awesome. You guys should do something. And then originally it was Mike, Jeff, and Dave working on stuff together, and that was, then they pulled in Chris, and then they ended up doing that Whiskey A Go Go Ultimate Jam Night thing and all that.
Sure.
And then from there, it's kind of, I helped them name it too, Kings of Thrash, and because I know a lot of people didn't like that name, but yeah, and then it took off as a life of its own, and
Right.
And it was really cool to see that kind of grow into what it is now.
Sure.
And then I remember the Diet thing. Originally, it was only supposed to be a music video.
Right.
Just the one video, and Dave didn't know how to frame it. Like, is this going to be a new band? Is this going to be? And I was like, just put it up, see what people think. And then people loved it, and now it's a band.
Yeah.
And I remember that was supposed to be like a one-off, like a one and done thing. Then it turned into what it's going to end up being. It's going to be pretty cool. And And then I kind of shot myself in the foot with that because now Dave doesn't have time for the Lucid anymore.
Right. I was gonna say, yeah, that'll teach you to be a good Samaritan, you bastard. You need to start being more of a selfish prick.
But we might do acoustic shows though, me and Vin, and maybe even Violent J. You never know. That'd be weird and fun, wouldn't it?
That would be. I cannot even imagine. Where would you? All right, that brings a zillion questions all by itself. Where in the world would you bring an acoustic show that has Violent J? I can't think that you could play that at like the Beachland Ballroom with 2 bouncers or whatever. You would need like legitimate security for that. No, and I'm not even kidding. I'm being serious.
That's a good point. I mean, I'm sure people would want to check it out just to hear what it would sound like. Just what, you know. I mean, yeah, it'd be a blast. Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, throwing it out there now, like whoever wants to see that, let your local promoters know and reach out to our agent.
Yeah, well, the best way to let you know is just by buying Sweet Tooth, so that people know that so that you guys know that there's interest, right?
Oh yeah, and we're up for it. It's just a matter of it's like, okay, who wants it and where and when.
Right on.
And, so we're definitely up for it for sure, and that'd be a very interesting set list for sure.
Sure. Well, dude, with the way Sweet Tooth has been received, and I, as we said jokingly before, I love the way people are reacting to it.
Me too.
I love that people don't know how to handle it, so they just go to the straight hate, which to me is hilarious. And I know how you guys are, you know, to where I know you look at that and you laugh, and you know, there might be like one legitimate complaint that you'll look at and you're like, all right, didn't think of that. But most of the rest of it is, how could you take an epic song like that and bastardize it?
Yeah, I love it. That's why we did it.
I know. That's the whole point to it is, why do you think people just decide before they listen to it to hate it?
It's almost like a social experiment, you know? And just to see how people react. Because we knew like off the bat, especially Mike, he was like, "Oh, everybody's gonna hate this," and I was like, "I know, it's gonna be great." And but the people that did get it really got a kick out of it. But I think it's one of those ones where you give it some time, and people will be like, "Okay, that was actually kind of fun."
Yeah.
But and it was all sanctioned by the Faith No More guys, and we got Ali Storch from Subway to Sally did real strings on it, and at the end you hear the hurdy-gurdy and all that, and it was just, and pretty much kept it as close musically as we could, and Mike and Dave kind of go off a little bit on some certain fills, which are pretty cool, but we had to put that much work into something to sound as close to the original, and just to have Vinny and Violent J do their rip it apart and put it back together again. It was just really fun to us, and yeah, it's but yeah, the comments and people's reactions have been so well worth it. And
do we get to hear this or any of this, Chris?
I can play some of it. Hold on.
Yeah, come on, man. You're making us use our imaginations too much here tonight.
I mean, YouTube.com here, which is the place everybody should go.
I think, you know, when it comes to covers, what's the point to do it exactly the same way where you can't differentiate the original from your version? It's like you got to jazz it up or do something. Keep it respectful. It's got to be cool, you know, at the end of the day. But I remember once a band had done that to Round and Round, had done a really like trippy version where they totally, I guess they were doing the same key changes to it, but they had changed the full on feel of it and made it kind of like an old timey blues song, and changed actually the melody a little bit to it. But he loved it. He thought it was so cool because that's a song he's heard a gazillion times. You know what I mean? It's like,
awesome.
So instead of yawning over it, he was like, wow. He actually made us play it that way for a couple times.
Oh, that's awesome.
We were doing an acoustic tour. It was on the Strip tour. I think he wanted to play Round and Round like this other band had done it.
And that is so cool.
Yeah. Sometimes some people got it, some didn't.
All right, let's play some of this. This is the Lucid with Sweet Tooth featuring Violent J. So check out, and we'll just stay right on the screen here, and we'll play a little of it. So check it out.
Yeah.
Everybody wanting what they can't have, yeah. Everybody reach for what they can't grab, yeah. Wanna push a bounty, fucking hardly push a cab, yeah. Everybody throwing punches, but can't take a jab. Everybody complains like they shackled in chains. On you it only rains, always losing no gains. Life's a series of pains, on your soul leaving stains. You could have been born with dick in your face, a pair of hands.
Darling girl, got it all up and breaks your fucking balls and sucking all that sweet fruit in your mouth, baby.
Everybody skinny wanna be a big
So there we
kid.
go. There's-
Everybody big
I don't want to
wanna
play the
be a
whole
twig.
song because you don't get any clicks for that one. So
Oh, that's all good.
Dig it.
that's good though, man. I love it. I don't care what anybody says. I think it's fucking great.
Oh,
So
thank you.
This is just like a lot of cool rap songs that just took a memorable musical piece and did their own thing over it. It becomes a hit, whether it's Eminem or
Absolutely.
anyone, and it works. And it's cool. And no wonder Mike Patton liked it, because it was a mashup almost, really.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. It's
It
like
is.
it's almost like instead of just using a sample itself, we just created the sample and then just had them,
Right.
Vinny and Violent J, kind of just do whatever they wanted over it.
Right. How long did it take to actually do the lyrical reinterpretation? Did it take a while, or did they knock it out like super fast?
I remember it being super fast because I remember initially it was just going to be a cover of Epic, and for no reason whatsoever, it was right. I think it was right when we were mixing the first album. I was like, hey, let's just, we did, here's something nobody knows. So we tracked that and we tracked a cover of Scatman. Remember,
Okay.
Sweep, up, 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 up. And kind of fucked ourselves with that because we don't know anybody that scats unless we get like Snow or something, because that would be interesting. But so we got that laying around, and we also had Epic kind of
right.
demoed out. And then I remember Vinny did the choruses for it, like the original. And then at some point I saw that Vinny's full of surprises. I saw that Vinny was on the last ICP album. I was like, Vinny, how the fuck do you know Violent J? I was like, maybe he wants to do this. And he was like, all right, I'll show it to him. And then the next thing you know, he wrote the lyrics as like that. And it was like, and Mike was like, hey, Vinny, maybe rewrite the chorus. So he did. And it was really quick. And then the song Saddle Up and Ride, Dave actually sent us like a cell phone demo, a video of him playing bass, and just kind of like a structured bass demo for like a song. And they sent it to us, and Vin sends it back with vocals over it. And then he sends it to Violent J. And so it kind of all started off as like this weird cell phone demo for that song. And it came out the way it came out now. And,
Right. and dude, for people that don't know, you yourself have kind of a Faith No More connection, because of obviously you you tell it. You certainly are acquainted with them as well as every other band. It seems like every other time I mention any band to you, whether it's on this or when me and you are just shooting the shit, you're like, oh yeah, I know him. It's
oh yeah.
But you do have a Faith No More connection.
Yeah, I played guitar for Chuck Mosley.
Right.
Billy passed away, and he was a dear friend, and I was going to do a documentary on him. And but still, since he passed, it's been since 2017, and still it doesn't feel like this any closure has happened so sudden and everything, and it's still a really sad thing. But yeah, I loved him very much, and it was so much fun playing with him. I remember one of the first rehearsals, I started playing the ending piano part of Epic on guitar, and Chuck was like, "What's that? Is that Metallica? Is that the Chili Peppers?" And then it was an acoustic band, so Doug came in with the bongos, and Chris came in with the bass, and then Chuck just started doing like a noise guitar solo over it, and then so we made that a part of the set. So the outro of Epic, a song that Chuck never sang on, and he would also do "Take This Bottle" from Mike Patton or Faith No More as well.
Right.
We do that one, and but the shows were wonderful, and it was just so much fun. And Doug, who was Chuck's manager. Slash percussionist slash babysitter.
Yeah.
Doug Esper, he's in Dwellers, that movie I accidentally made.
Come on, that movie rocks.
No,
I didn't accidentally make it. That movie rules.
Yeah, $0 and 4 non-consecutive days.
Yeah, but you won a bunch of awards for it.
Yeah, it's still it's crazy.
Very nice, dude. So, dude, what are the plans for the Lucid? Are there tour plans? Is there a 5-day window of shows or anything that you guys can that we can look forward to?
You never know. We might end up at the Gathering this year.
Okay.
Or something like that. We're looking at later on in the year. Nobody's got anything scheduled yet for like the latter half, like fourth quarter, and so we're just kind of seeing what's what. And but in the meantime, I'm trying to make those acoustic shows happen. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Me, Vin, and Violent J just kind of just thinking about it. It'd be ridiculous, but so much fun.
Well, if you need a room to put it, Pinball PA is always available to you.
Absolutely. You got to do the makeup though. If we do that,
I'll do the makeup. Hell yes.
You're gonna let Juggalos into the Pinball
I
PA.
absolutely will, because you know what kind of great pictures and video I would get of a bunch of Juggalos in Pinball PA playing pinball.
Well, we could impersonate some for you. Play it safe though. Have some fake ones.
Look, as long as they all don't bring 2 bottles of Faygo with them and start spewing them off the ground, I don't care. I do not care.
Pretty good, by the way. I have had Faygo, and it was delicious.
Well, you'd have to see an ICP show to get it. They come out with truckloads of Faygo, and they shake them up all through the show, through the entire show. Those 2 guys are running around shaking up Faygo and just banging them off the ground and shooting them into the crowd and shooting them all over it's nuts. Like I one of the shows I saw was at the Cleveland Agora, and I've never seen anything like this. They took plastic and ran plastic from the ceiling to the floor, and it's a big venue. And I mean, ceiling to floor plastic so that nothing would get covered with Faygo. And I think they went through 2 pallets of Faygo. 2 pallets of Faygo during an 1.5-hour show. It was freaking ridiculous.
You know what's funny? When I was in Bantango, we played a place in Texas, and we got the name of it. It might have been the Rail Club or something. But the night before, ICP played.
Okay.
And when we got there for sound check, they were still cleaning up the Faygo, and everybody was fucking pissed. Everybody was
yeah, you're walking around, your feet are sticking to the floor, and touching.
Yeah, I don't think they retired. I think they're just not allowed to play anywhere. There's nowhere left to play.
I think so. I think that's what it is.
I don't know about that.
Pinball PA, that's it.
They draw people. Look, if you really ever in any kind of business, you want a bunch of people to come that will spend money. See, that's the thing about those guys. And again, this is just me riffing, but yeah, they're dangerous on a lot of different levels. But man, if you're just looking for somebody that brings a hardcore following that will spend an ass load of money, there's nobody more loyal than the Juggalo fans. Nobody.
Right.
So
well, you'll need it for the insurance policy, because I'm sure that
Juggalo insurance.
Yeah. Somehow I don't think my insurance company would be real happy with. What do you mean you have $2 million of Faygo damage? What does that mean? Well, Drew, man, this has been fun, man. But we gotta wrap this one up, because we've got a very busy show tonight. But tell people where to go online to keep up with you, the Lucid, the projects, where they could buy. And I do mean buy, don't just fucking stream it. Buy the merchandise and all that good stuff.
There's a super limited merchandise, signed CDs, and all that at lucidofficial.com, and we are doing a vinyl run of it too, and those will ship out in July, I think, because manufacturing takes forever. But that's in the fine print when you order it, so don't expect it soon. Expect it in July. But lucidofficial.com, and you could get that, and we still got some CDs left and vinyls, so like you can secure the order now, but they won't be available later. That's for sure. And Lucid, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the Lucid, I don't know.
Just look it up, the Lucid.
Cool name. I like the name too.
But if you just look up Lucid, you get all kinds of like tranquil water pictures and stuff.
Maybe that's what we want.
Yeah, well, maybe.
we want you to stumble across the tranquil water pictures. We want to be hard to find.
Well, you're definitely not the easiest name to find, that's for sure. But anyway, Drew, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you guys so much.
We'll wrap it up with a little bit of Deaths of Despair, which is, of course, the Lucid. And so yeah, until next time, Drew, good luck, and I'll talk to you soon. And here it is. Here's a little bit of the Lucid with Deaths of Despair right here on Chris Akin Presents. Life great heavy metal banter about the more modern bands of today? Then you need to be checking out Talk To Me. That's right, you need to be doing it. Featuring the one, the only, well, maybe not either of those two, but one of the bassists of Primer 55, Mr. Joshua Toomey, as well as yours truly, we dig deep into today's modern heavy metal world to bring you the best podcast in the goddamn game. So you should be watching. Get Talk To Me at youtube.com/notfest or wherever you get your favorite audio podcasts. New episodes come out every Thursday in audio form and on Fridays on YouTube over there at Notfest. Make sure you are tuned in. Talk To Me on notfest.com. Subscribe today. Audio Base Studios is your one-stop shop for all your recording needs. Whether you're a musical artist, podcaster, want to record an audiobook, or have any other audio or video needs, they can all be met at Audio Bay Studios. Recording is available 24/7 to accommodate your time requirements. Audio Bay Studios is conveniently located at 605 Clague Parkway in Bay Village, Ohio. Visit us online at www.audiobaystudios.com or call us today at 440-539-1150. And we are back right here on Chris Akin Presents. Wake up, Eric.
I'm awake. I'm here.
And how fun was that, man, having Drew on the show?
That's great, man. I'm so glad that he's recovered. That's a scary business.
Yeah, it's the, him and I are obviously boys, and it was really, really stunning when he hit me up one day and just was like, dude, I got testicular cancer. I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what the
I thought I had that once, like
Really?
a long time ago. Yeah, I had like something on one of my nuts. It was like a bump or something, I thought, and or something was weird. Like there was something on there. It didn't feel right. I remember I ended up back then like going to a clinic or something, and I remember it was like this Asian dude, which I felt more comfortable pulling my junk out in front of, but for some reason, I don't know why. But, anyways, he was feeling around there, and I was like, "Do you feel anything?" And he's like, I don't feel anything here. That's weird. I'm like, "You sure?" It was just the whole thing was kind of weird because he was in there just like I made him feel it for so long,
Right. Wow, that's crazy, dude. That is some crazy stuff, man. Well,
but it turned out to be nothing. I was just a
that's good.
hypochondriac, like I was for so many years.
Right.
I always thought I had the worst thing. Like I had once I had gotten athlete's foot somewhere,
Right.
and I thought I had AIDS.
Great.
Yeah, it was like the 90s, and like they made everybody feel like they had AIDS back then.
Yeah.
And I had this like red blotch on my foot, and I'm like, oh man, I got the AIDS.
You know,
I got the AIDS.
nice.
But
I'll tell you what, dude, this show is moving very fast. So I'm going to keep it moving along here. I'm going to play one more quick spot just so that I can get to music, and we'll play a little bit of Kingdom Come, and then we will be back with Keith St. John of Kingdom Come and of Desert Dragon. Right here in a second, it is Chris Akin Presents. Audio Base Studios is your one-stop shop for all your recording needs. Whether you're a musical artist, podcaster, want to record an audiobook, or have any other audio or video needs, they can all be met at Audio Bay Studios. Recording is available 24/7 to accommodate your time requirements. Audio Bay Studios is conveniently located at 605 Clague Parkway in Bay Village, Ohio. Visit us online at www.audiobaystudios.com or call us today at 440-539-1150. little bit of Kingdom Come right there. That was Do You Like It? And I know what I like. I like talking to this guy for the first time, and I can't believe in all the years I've been doing this, I've never come across him, but I am an absolute fan. Loved him in Lynch Mob, loved him in Montrose, loved him in this new band Desert Dragon, love him in Kingdom Come. He is Keith St. John. Keith, how are you, man?
Chris, I'm doing great, man. I'm here in the desert winter of lovely Las Vegas, Nevada. And
nice.
Thank you for all the kind words. I'm really looking forward to talking to you as well. It has
Absolutely.
been too many years without connecting here, but we're finally doing it.
We're finally doing it. Now,
We had a bump in the road, I think, a while ago, a month ago. We were supposed to talk and it didn't work out or something.
Yeah, something happened, but all good. We got it now. Now, I don't know, Keith, do you know Erik, who is Stephen Pearcy's guitar player?
I don't think he does.
No, we're not friends. But how you doing, buddy?
We are
We'll have to be
now.
friends. No, I've never hung out with you, buddy. How's everything going, man?
It's going very well. I'm impressed, man. You sound amazing with Kingdom Come there.
Oh, thank you, man. Well, that was I've never seen footage from that particular show, but I recognize it. That was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back with the what was going on. Yeah, going on. Mm-hmm. You know, James Kotek has had some health situations over the last year, and they've really been affecting his playing. And you know, everybody in the band really wanted him to be able to continue and play, but you know, he's just got to sort some things out and wait for some stuff in his body to heal where he has the strength to play the songs at tempo. I guess I should say after we heard that version of Do You Like It?
I heard the beat one misbeat, but yeah, whatever, man. You sound amazing. So,
you know,
I don't know. I was impressed.
That was the ballad version of Do You Like It? So,
and I had that record as a kid. You know, I had the Kingdom Come record. So.
Sure.
Yeah, no, those are cool records, man. They're amazing. It's like those first two. It's like the band Montrose, which oddly enough, both James and I had some tenure in. You know, that first record is like the rock and roll Bible, and then a couple songs off the second record, and then after that, the fourth, fifth, and sixth records are just kind of out there somewhere, and even fans don't really know too many songs off of those. I think it's kind of the same thing for Kingdom Come in a way.
Sure.
But
sure.
Yeah, cool.
Well, let me ask you, Keith, since we're talking Kingdom Come, and we will definitely get to Desert Dragon here in a minute, but with Kingdom Come, I mean, for people that don't know, which is most, Kingdom Come has a huge history. You know, Lenny continued on without the band that you're playing with and has 15 different records, you know, post that lineup. And when I say 15, I think that's really the number is 15
that
records.
Probably is, man. Yeah.
There's tons. So for you, you know, stepping into that, did you have reservations stepping into a band that had been more or less almost like a Megadeth type project where Lenny was the Dave Mustaine of the band?
Yeah, no, and I had enough sort of, I guess, experience in the industry as soon as they asked me to do it to say, you know, well, ask your singer and really go to the mat and pick his brain and make sure he doesn't want to do this. You know, right. I know he announced his retirement, but people change their mind when the original members show up and want to do something, you know, especially with some really good projected plans and some of the powers that be are going to help the band get back on the map. So they did. And we sort of started planning and getting some stuff ready. And 6 months later, I said, hey, guys, call Lenny again now. You know, you've had some stuff released in the press and really, you know, go there with him again and make sure he doesn't want to do this. Because, you know, most of the time people's opinions change when this stuff comes up. But sure enough, he said, no, you know, I give you guys my full blessing and, you know, I wish you luck, but I'm retired and I don't feel like doing this anymore.
Right on.
And so I embarked on onto a new boat on a new ship that started sailing. And, you know, James had been a good friend over the years since like sometime in the 90s. You know, we jammed on different things, did different projects and stuff. And
he's a good
looking
singer.
forward to actually doing something, you know, out on the map that people were going to see. So, you know, I enjoyed getting it together with those guys and look forward to it. And I will tell you one story, though. Our very first show was up in Seattle, and it was the beginning of a grueling kind of ground tour that we wanted to start out with a couple of months, just doing clubs just to
Right.
get the band kind of back up and playing and rehearsed, because some of the guys really weren't doing much over the years.
Right.
And nobody told me this, but Marco Wolf, Lenny's brother, is pretty much a spitting image of Lenny. Looks a lot like him. And
Sounds
he
like
lives
him
up
too.
there. He lives up there. And when I came out onto the stage, right in the middle of the first song, I saw this guy, 3 people in front of me in the audience that looked just like Lenny. I'm like, wait a minute, man. What's going on? Did he really come out? I was a little freaked out. And then, the guy after the show, I still didn't know it wasn't him, came up and wrapped his arms around me and gave me a big hug. And, he congratulated me and told me how good I was doing. And then in a few minutes, I learned that it was his brother, who looks just like a Marco. But that was a really funny night for me the whole time, just thinking Lenny was actually out in the audience at the first show.
That's awesome. Now, what is the status of Kingdom Come as a band? Is it just a live thing? Are you guys writing material to release a Kingdom Come record, or where are you at with that?
It's gone back and forth. Rick Steyer and I have probably put more material together than any other combination because we both live in LA.
Okay.
And we were working with James too, but James is long story short, he's back down in Louisiana right now, Louisville right now.
Okay.
Louisville, Kentucky, which is his hometown, and he's trying to get, he's got some broken bones and all kinds of stuff going on that, he had an accident, and he's just trying to get himself back together before, he comes back and tries to get back into the fold. So
okay.
In the meantime, and the other guys, Danny Stagg and JB Frank, they live in different cities. One's in Jacksonville, one's in Pittsburgh, and they're writing and they're sending over ideas all the time. I mean, we have communication back and forth. So if we can put some of this stuff together and actually get the whole band in a studio for a couple of weeks or whatnot, I think we can come out of it with an album.
Okay.
So
Sure.
I'm hoping.
Sure, definitely. Well, it's not like you're sitting back though and just waiting for shit to happen either, because in the meantime you have Desert Dragon, which just put out a release a little over a month ago, I guess. With This Side of Heaven, which if people have not heard it yet, go and give it a listen over on Spotify or wherever, because it's an excellent release. And if you like classic metal, that just strong 80s sounding metal, it is fantastic. So why don't we talk a little bit about that, Keith? There it is. Look at that.
Behold.
Yeah, there it is. No, we can see it. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Very
I can
good.
smell it. Hold it up there.
Nice.
You can hear the plastic crinkling.
That's right. Well, Keith, tell us a little bit about not only this band and this album, but your involvement as well, as how you got involved with these guys and put this band out on the map.
Ever since really kind of the late 90s, there's always been bands and guys and writers from around the globe getting in touch and saying, hey, you want to do this and we want to do that. And most of the time it's not really going to be a perfect matchup for what I want to do at the time, or it's kind of out of my style range or out of my wheelhouse. When Greg Patnode, the leader of that band, sent me his first demos, it was at a time when I was kind of maybe feeling a little bit burnt and open to be appreciative of where they were at, and where they were at was kind of more like an early 70s kind of band.
Sure.
That was really rootsy, and you couldn't call this band a metal band by any means, although some of their songs allude to some heaviness, and they got some pretty heavy guitars, but it's still it's basically a rock band with some progressive pieces. I liken them to like a little bit of ELP and Yes, and Kansas, some of the songs are that way. And even though there's one or two tracks, that are right up the middle, Deep Purple meets Free or something, but it really allowed me to sing in a way that I haven't in a really long time and get back to the roots and just kind of expand on that is my story. And I was looking forward to that. I was like, this is really fresh. And Greg was kind of letting me come by and just kind of, chop up the canvas and move things around to fit into what I thought was a logical, song structure each time.
Right.
Typical singer stuff. And that was easy and felt good. His level of sort of just openness and cooperation to me just coming in with these ideas. I didn't want to come in and just, kind of snowplow
Right.
he had out and just do my thing. I wanted to take the elements that I thought they were doing that could be really brilliant, that reminded me of some of my heroes from back then.
Sure.
My bands that I really loved. And I was like, wow, we could put this together and I can actually do this. And it would be, almost be like being in something like Kansas meets Sweet meets, with Paul Rogers singing or something. You know what I mean? So
Right. Yeah.
I was like, this is a really cool fun house, candy store to be in and do this stuff. And that's how it started. And, he wound up having enough for a whole record. And the other guys he was working with wound up being really cool and eclectic and a different melting pot in their own way too. I was like, this is almost like those bands in the 60s that, those guys didn't grow up playing rock and roll, and
Right.
they came together with different genres and made this melting pot. And that's kind of what Desert Dragon is. So,
Right.
it was really cool to be a part of it. I didn't have any expectations of where it was going to go, but I was just kind of having a good time with it. And hopefully there's some songs on there that some people dig.
Yeah. How for you, you've the bulk of your career that people know, obviously the Lynch Mob and Kingdom Come and Montrose and whatnot, you stepped into other people's material. How
Yes.
important was it that stepping into this, that you could express yourself creatively, instead of just stepping into whoever their last singer was and doing his thing?
Well, honestly, the career bands that I was in that you mentioned, I just kind of was rolling with the flow and was kind of a hippie in those situations, but I'm writing all the time. I mean, that's what I love. I love being in the studio. I love being creative and I love writing. And, sometimes I kick myself in the teeth a little bit because when I do put stuff out and I do write with people or put stuff of my own out, it always does great. And it always does good things for my life. So, a lot of times artist types aren't good manager types. And, I'm glad now maybe at these more mid-years and stuff to be writing a lot more. And eventually I kind of found that outlet with my other writing partner, Doug Aldridge. And I don't know if you're aware of that band, Burning Rain.
Burning Rain, of course, yeah.
Because of our kind of day job gigs, I mean, we put out a record on the average maybe once every 4 years or something.
Sure.
So it's not that often, and we haven't done that much extensive touring because most of the time we've been in like those bands you mentioned, and had to just stay with the program and to stay in those bands. I would have liked to do a lot more touring with Burning Rain, and we still might in the future. So it's been a mixed bag. It's been a mixed bag of having fun, hanging out with the old school big time rock stars, and learning a lot from them, and playing really fun gigs in front of really fun crowds, and also being able to write as much as possible. And I'm still struggling to balance the same thing.
Right. Definitely. Well, and the interesting thing, even like with Doug and Burning Rain, which is you guys' band. Now Doug is unless I've heard wrong, Doug is locked in with Dead Daisies, and that's kind of the deal with Dead Daisies, is you don't do anything else when you're in Dead Daisies, right?
Yeah, and so that just happened to be the fate, of course.
Right.
And maybe that's the universe, trying to knock on my head and say, hey, dude, you don't get it yet. Let me really send this home for you now.
Right.
It's not just when the band has a break, it's also like, well, we really kind of don't want you to, do too much unless we say it's okay.
Sure.
But we're talking. We're actually talking recently because coincidentally, that you and I are talking now. The Daisies is going to be on break for some time right now, so we may be able to squeeze something in. Let's see.
Okay. Excellent.
Doug just did the Metal Hall of Fame.
Right. That's right.
With me, and as a result, in talking to the owner Pat, he wanted to also induct Doug, so that worked out really good.
Yeah.
But we had to talk about it and how it was going to be presented, and make sure that it would work for the Daisies management, etc. And I get that. You need to be respectful and keep everything on the straight and narrow. I get it. I would do the same thing.
No, I get it too. It makes sense. Now I know with back to Desert Dragon for a minute, you worked with Ron Nevison, if I could speak. You were working with him to flesh out the sound. Wow, that's certainly a great name.
That's a big name, yeah. It's huge, but honestly, I wasn't involved with that. That was pretty much Greg's contact and his thing, and
you got to be happy with the result, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely, big time. Ron's a master. And huge legend. I would have loved to, have been there and spent some time with him myself.
Hell yeah, definitely, man. Well, dude, what are the with Desert Dragon and I guess with Kingdom Come as well? What are the touring opportunities looking like? It's a weird time now for touring because every band known to man is out there. So all at the same time. So what kind of opportunities are out there, or what are you guys looking at for 2023 and and beyond?
Kingdom Come is currently being handled by ARM.
Okay.
It's John McGull and company, and we're waiting to see what's going to map out here. We have a lot of Weekend Warrior stuff. Just go out and do one or two and come home, which works sort of for me right now because I'm doing the Raiding the Rock Vault show in Las Vegas.
Sure.
With Sir Harry, and which is fun, but once again, like you say, that's doing other people's music.
Right.
So, and that's one step back further. Playing covers. I'm playing with a lot of friends. There's a lot of cool people in that act and Raiding the Rock Vault. Todd Kearns is one of the other singers, and
sure. Todd, damn it.
Oni is one of the other singers. Jizzy's one of the other singers.
Yeah. Is John Bazaha still in that from the Babies?
He's not. But when the show first came back at the end of May last year, he did start it off, but he was only in for about 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Another great singer, great guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's great. I hope he comes back sometime soon. And Blas is on drums.
Right.
So Blas is also now in Kingdom Come because he stepped in for James. So promoters and buyers and stuff, I think, are getting used to that idea, and I'm trying to help get some promotional material together for them so that they can present that. I think that's a strong package as well.
Absolutely.
If we needed someone to step in for James for now. Blas is also the current drummer in Burning Rain.
Okay.
And Blas is also playing on the Keith St. John solo stuff right now, which for me is my passion, and I got to get that stuff out. And, above and beyond anything, it's just getting my budget together and getting the time together, doing all this other stuff. But do you have a thought on that, like a timeline thought on that? Man, I keep saying that I do, and I keep putting my foot in my mouth. So, these things keep coming up. I'd love to get it out by the beginning of the summer. Okay. Say that. If that could happen, I think it can. I have all the elements. Part of the reason I came out to Vegas and agreed to do Raiding the Rock Vault is because Blas was playing in the show, and he was going to be able to be here, and I'd have access to us going in the studio more often. Sure. And also a whole bunch of other people have moved from LA to Vegas recently. Right. There's people I'm still discovering out here that I had no idea are out here. Yeah. It's almost like Vegas is the new LA, right? It sort of is starting to feel like that. I had no idea.
Stephen Piercy lives there now.
That's true. That's true. We talked to Steven about possibly coming down and doing Rough Halt. There were a couple of conversations. So I don't know if that'll happen or where it'll go, but I don't know that would be Steven's thing. You know, you gotta. You know,
he did something at Vamp the other night. He did I think it might have been a benefit or something that was going on there.
I heard about that.
Yeah, that looked fun.
I think Todd went and a couple other guys, and they were talking about it backstage.
Sure, very cool, man.
Oh yeah, man.
Well, Keith, obviously, man, a lot going on. The current project, Desert Dragon, is out there this side of heaven. Go buy it. Where can people buy it? I don't even want to tell them to go to the streaming sites because that does you guys no good. So where can they buy it?
They can go to the website and buy it.
All right.
You know, www.desertdragon.com.
Okay.
And they can find it there. And that's the best place I know to go because I'm not exactly sure what's going on with where Greg's got it placed right now too. It should be out there on, like you said, all the streaming sites, but
sure.
I think you can buy it on iTunes. I think you can buy it on Amazon.
Oh, well, in that case, go there and buy it. But don't, we say this every single time with every interview. We tell people to buy it because, let's face it, Spotify, it's great that everybody can hear it. But when's the last time you got a Spotify check that was big enough to pay for a DoorDash order?
Right?
Never.
When is the time anybody has? It's crazy, man. So one thing about Desert Dragon, just a quick plug.
Sure.
We, I told Greg I think it's a better idea for this record anyway, an unknown band, to really try the single release one at a time thing to kind of get it out there and to really concentrate on some videos.
Sure.
So we got this song called Swamp Thing.
Right.
I heard this riff and Greg has some really some genius guitar riffs, you know.
Okay.
He doesn't have a boatload of experience in the business, but I mean, some of this music he comes up with you would never expect to hear. He kind of got like a Leslie West kind of Mississippi Queen, but a different version of that, you know, like. Sure. And so I wrote this thing with him, called it Swamp Thing, and it kind of it alludes to the fact that Swamp Thing is this thing that gets created to like some kind of space radiation and almost turns into like a Godzilla character, you know, where he's like, you know, just destroying cities. But at the same time, he's this really nice guy, you know, that people would like to sit down and have a cup of tea with, you know, kind of a thing. And so we started the video. I have some friends out at Paramount Ranch in Agora Hills out in California. We did the first shots the other day, and since it starts out with a real country feel, it starts out with a little Jew harp going twang 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 and some crickets, and then he comes in with his guitar lick. So I had him put on these old stonewashed overalls and a straw hat and a corncob pipe, and he's smoking it up, you know. And Greg's got a beard. He's in a rocking chair. There's this perfect church building like in the middle of a field at Paramount Ranch, and it was a gas, man. Just shooting that and getting all those, you know, really in and out funny fisheye and panning around him shots, and I think it's going to be a really great video. So Swamp Thing, watch for the release. Desert Dragon is going to be a blast. It's
very cool. And when do you think? When do you think that's coming? Month or so, or?
Yeah, probably about a month or so.
Okay.
All right. More shots to complete, and we're over a long distance, but
sure.
Yeah, it's going to be funny and it's going to be killer. We're actually waiting for the prosthetic, actual Swamp Thing suit.
Nice.
Like in the Godzilla movies, I don't know if you ever saw online. You know, the little Japanese guys, when they took off the hood of the suit, you could see them in the little rubber suit of what it was. So. Somebody's actually making something for the Swamp Thing, and so there's whoever wears it can come up out of the swamp and
that'll be awesome. Oh yeah, well that'll be awesome, man. As is the release this side of heaven. It is Desert Dragon, and Keith, what I thought we would do is we'd wrap with the single that you guys have, the video that's out there now. We'll play a little piece of that. So Keith,
sure.
Keith, obviously people should check you out with Kingdom Come when you're in their town, and they should check you out with Desert Dragon online, and if and when Desert Dragon gets out there to get in your town. So Keith, thanks so much for joining us here on Chris Akin Presents.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. And guys, go to keithstjohn.com, and all this and more will be there. And
Nice.
Look forward to seeing you soon, man.
Very cool. Thank you, man.
Good meeting you, brother.
Nice meeting you, bud.
All right, take care.
Talk to you soon, man.
All right, bro. Take
I
care.
love the background.
Dogs keep pulling the trigger. Mama, it's time to lock and load. Raging fire's ready to roll. Won't cut down my heart and soul. Nobody gonna make a dead man of me. Ain't gonna make a dead man of me. Stealing from a jumped out punk with 2 fists in hands, ripping through the scene. Pressure's running high tonight down in the wasteland. It's a guillotine.
What's going on, everybody? It is Chris Akin from the Classic Metal Show, and I know a lot of you guys love watching the videos of the Classic Metal Show, but you want it on your TV. Now, there's a number of ways that you can do it, but one of the easiest ways is just to install the Roku channel that we have for the Classic Metal Show. If you go to the Roku store, which is located at roku.com, and you simply type in Classic Metal Show, you're going to get a page that shows up just like this one. Of course, you're going to need to be logged in, but then all you'll do is you'll click install right here, and it will install it to your Roku. It's that simple, and then you can get all the episodes every week of the Classic Metal Show, as well as Chris Akin Presents, and they will be updated as they release. So you'll get new episodes every day. It's just like having a regular channel like NBC or whatever on your Roku. Now you've got the Classic Metal Show on your Roku. So make sure you get it. Just go to the Roku.com website and do a search in the channel store for Classic Metal Show. And the CMS will be with you all week long. All right? Cool. Hail and kill. It's that time of year again, friends.
Nice. That was a great
It's
track.
tax time. We all know it sucks, but it sucks a lot less when you do your taxes with a simple and easy service. File Your Taxes provides no gimmicks and gives you no surprises. Their pricing is transparent, and their system is easy to navigate while preparing your taxes. Visit them online at taxes.cmspn.com and walk right through your tax preparation and filing in a snap. File your taxes now with no surprises. Taxes.cmspn.com.
All right, we're gonna go.
And we are back on Chris Akin Presents. It's Chris Akin and Erik Ferentinos, and this guy, Mr. Terry Ilous. Terry, how are you, man?
Good, brother. Chris, how are you?
It's good to see you once again, sir. It's been a little while.
Yes. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, Terry, obviously, man, you
I
are
don't
a
hear you
very
very
good.
well. Can you? I don't hear you very, very well. You're very low volume.
You're echoing too, Chris.
I am? Oh,
Yeah.
let's see. Oh, well, live radio. Well, I have my microphone all the way up, but can you hear me a little better if I speak louder?
Yeah, okay. I'll try to. It's not too good, but it's okay.
All right. Well, I'll speak loudly here, as you do on the microphone. You always speak loudly with XYZ and with your other bands, and you obviously have this new project that you're working on, All or Nothing. So talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I mean, we just did a show with the kids. Now you have to understand. I call them the kids because they're 21 and 25 years old, so it is not demeaning whatsoever. I love the kids. They call me dad, uh, and I think they have a great future. And we've done shows together, many shows together. Them and George Lynch, of course, and myself and Paul Monroe from XYZ. And last show we did was Saturday night in Mount Clemens in Michigan, and was completely sold out. So it's going well. It's going very well. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Terry, for you personally, you're working with Brett Carlisle, who is now in Great White, and you obviously were in Great White previously, which kind of seems weird as an outsider, that played out. But tell us a little bit about how that all worked out.
Well, I don't think it's. I got to be honest with. Can you hear me? Okay, because it says
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Um, it just happened that Eric Stevens is a buddy of mine. Eric is said, "Hey, you want to do some shows? I got this great band," and I said, "Yeah, yeah." So I met with the kids a little while ago. I think a year and a half ago, and immediately we liked each other. They're so much fun. They're from Alabama, and we call each other a redneck, and we're just having so much fun. And we I did some shows with them, and then I knew I've heard that Great White was eventually looking for a new singer, and I thought I talked to Eric about that, and we thought Brett would be the perfect match for Great White because he's young, he's good looking, he sings very well, and I've heard him sing Great White before, and he's a really good singer. So when Eric said, "What do you think of that? If he would to join Great White?" I'm like, "God, it's a great idea." Um, and he joined Great White, and I'm happy for him. You need to understand that I am not uncomfortable with the situation whatsoever. Not jealous whatsoever. I had no intention of joining the band back whatsoever either. I'm happy for Great White. I'm very happy for Brett. It's a great future for him. It's a great stepping stone to go somewhere else and to be performing with a band that has a great past and great songs. And why not? So I'm excited for the kid. He's great.
No, you're right. He definitely is, and he fits the role well. And it's just kind of odd for you. I have to think to see the guy that kind of, as I remember it, it was not the most pleasant of handshakes and walk away, and that has to be somewhat weird. Now being in a project with the guy that kind of took your job, so to speak. No.
Yes and no, not really. I mean, things happen when you're in a band. Um, you're in a band, you don't see eye to eye. It doesn't mean you don't like each other. You just want different things. I think Great White ultimately was looking for something else, and I was looking for something else. I wanted something different, and I got what I wanted. They got what they wanted. They had Mitch, who's a good singer, and then they had somebody else, and I'm happy for them. It is not uncomfortable at all, although we went separate ways in a strange way, via email, which is kind of strange. But it's the thing. It is no there's no hard feelings whatsoever. You need to understand that I keep in touch with the guys. In fact, I just emailed the guy Audie a few days ago.
Okay.
I even emailed Bridget and Mark on Saturday night because I know they have a big anniversary coming up, so I wish them the best and everything. Dude, man, I have no animosity. I'm very happy. I'm very comfortable in my shoes, and I'm very happy for them. and life goes on. You know, you can't be bitter. You just have to. The thing is, when things happen to you, is what are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna cry and dwell on the negative, or are you going to do something about it? And for a little while, of course, I was, upset like everybody else, but I didn't post anything negative or anything because I think it was wrong to do that. But eventually, I moved on, and they moved on, and everybody's happy.
Right. And you definitely did. You did the Gypsies record, that you did that, and now from what I see, as recently as like 4 or 5 hours ago, you're right in the middle of making new XYZ music. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'm extremely happy about that. Well, here's the truth. The truth is we I wrote those songs a little while ago for XYZ, and we didn't see eye to eye as far as the production, as
Okay.
usual, like it is always in a band. I wanted to do more of one thing. Pat wanted to do more of something else. So we left those songs in a hard drive for a couple of years, talking to each other about it. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And finally, we made a compromise. We came up with a compromise, and I talked to our producer, and I said, "Okay, I'm coming to Denver, which I am in Denver today." I said, "I'm coming to Denver to work on the guitars," and here I am, and we um, we have this wonderful guitar player named Mark Murtha. He's I know he's an unknown guitar player, but he's wonderful, and he decided to give us a hand, and the sound is tremendous. It's really, really. I'm very, very excited about the new XYZ songs. Um, I think it's gonna surprise some people because it's a little bit. It's not like the first or second album. It's a continuation of where we left off.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is, if you listen to the first Led Zeppelin album, and I do not, by all mean, think I'm Led Zeppelin by all mean, but if you listen to the Beatles or the Stones or all those great bands, they come up with the first album, like for example, Led Zeppelin one, which was a masterpiece, and then they moved on, and then they evolve and they release Physical Graffiti, which is a big departure, but it's still the same band. It's still the same vocals, the guitars. It's just more produced. So the new songs are a little bit more produced, but they're still rocking. It's still XYZ. It's still the vocals are still me. I'm still singing my ass off, and just the production is a little bit better. I mean, I wouldn't say better. It's a little bit more mature. That's what I'm trying to say.
Sure. I'll argue with you on this forever, Terry. I still will say the best record that XYZ did is Letter to God. That record is so heavy and so just vicious from you guys. I love that record, man. So if you're going in that vein, all good here.
Yeah, well, Letter to God is a great album. It came at a time where rock was not so happening, so it went, it was in today, gone today. I mean, unfortunately, but it happens in the music business. A lot of people have released albums and songs that were brilliant or good, and unfortunately, no one paid attention to them. I'll give you an example. If you listen to Leonard Cohen, one of the greatest composer, a songwriter, who recently passed away, he wrote the song Hallelujah. When he released the song Hallelujah, the record company didn't want to release it. MCA said, "Nah, this song is no good." So they did not release the album. And
Wow.
he had to go through an indie record company to release the album. And really, nobody paid attention to that. People were like, "Yeah, it's okay." Until somebody else decided to do a cover of that song. You know the story. And all of a sudden, this song become, and people will say, "Oh my God, what a great song!" So
Right on. Definitely. Now, Terry, for you, I want to swing back to All or Nothing. Obviously, George Lynch played on it, who I'm sure you've run into a zillion times over the years, but did you bring him into the project, or were you just as surprised as anybody when he was a part of it, or what?
well, Chris, what happened is I had that song called "Dead or Alive," and I didn't know what to do with it. I wrote the song a while ago and didn't know what to do with it. And Erik said, "Oh, you should record that song with the kids." I said, "Yeah, okay." So I presented the songs to Jacob and Brett, and they said, "Oh yeah, we want to record it and everything." I said, "Great." And Erik came up with the idea. Says, "What about George? You know George very well." I'm like, "Yeah, let me call George." So I sent George a text. I said, "Would you be interested in doing a track with me?" He said, "Sure, send me the song." And I sent him the songs, and within a few minutes, I got a reply saying, "I'm in." And that was it. And George, you have to understand, George is one of my all-time favorite guitarists of all time.
Same.
George is a beast. George belongs to those very rare guitar players that have not only a style but the sound. George is just a very unique guitar player, very unique. And in fact, I saw him Saturday. We had a great show together, and we are working on other things together. He sent me, said, "Send me your new ideas, see if I can come up with a new riff." I'm like, "Okay, you got it." So I'm looking forward to a great collaboration with All or Nothing, of course, Brett and Jacob and Ian and Skylar, the members of the band, and George as well as a guitar player. So I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. And you know, the unique thing is with George is that George is so busy, yet every project he brings something different, which is amazing when you think about the fact that the guy's in 400 bands. Always a unique sound with every project he plays on.
Well, George is very talented. Again, he's one of my favorite all-time guitar player, and he's a very talented beast. I mean, he belongs to George is on his own. You know what I mean? There's not too many guitar players. There are a lot of great guitar players out there, but there are very few Jeff Beck, very few Randy Rhoads, very few George Lynch. Very few guitar players like that they have their own thing. Whether you like one or another, you like Randy Rhoads, or you like George, or you like I don't know, whomever you like, Ingve. Those guys have their own thing, and that's pretty rare because a lot of musicians in general are really good, but I would say, not to be disrespectful, but they're generic. I wouldn't say generic. It's just like, they play well, but they're not reinvent anything, or they're not bringing something new. The Yngwie Malmsteen, the Jeff Beck, the Randy Rhoads, the George Lynch, they brought something else. Of course, Eddie, of course, by all means, Eddie Van Halen, by all means, the greatest of all time. Jimi Hendrix also. Those guys brought something new.
When I'm always curious about this for singers, and especially creative guys like yourself. When you have the opportunity to work with somebody that is that creative, like a George Lynch, and then you go on to working with other people that, no disrespect to them, but are not as creative as, these once in a generational talents, is it difficult to work within their limitations when you've worked with somebody that can pretty much do anything that you think of?
No, because Chris, I'm a producer, and I know how to adjust, and I'm very comfortable working with anyone, and I'm really good at making people feel comfortable in the studio and explaining myself, expressing myself, my ideas, and ultimately the people I work with are good. They're good. They may not have the same talent as Yngwie or Michael Schenker or of course George, but they do have some talent. I guarantee you. I don't work with Bozo the Clown, so those guitar players are good, they just need a little push, that's all. And I'm here for that. I hear melodies in my head all the time. I'm like, why don't you try this? And I say that in a proper manner. I'm not pushy, and I make people feel comfortable in the studio. And like today, I was working with Mark. Mark may not have the past or the credit, I would say, as someone like George, but he's got great ideas as well. You just need someone has to help him bring those ideas out. And guess what? They came out and they were like, "Oh, here we go, great." So just have be kind and help people.
Excellent. Well, Terry, obviously, man, big year for you. Got new XYZ on the horizon. We've got All or Nothing, and we've got this George Lynch collaboration. So where should we tell people to go to keep up with you online and everything that you're doing?
Thank you so much, Chris. I think people can go online. I'm very easy to online. I mean, you can find me online under my name, first name, Terry Ilous, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff. You know, just go on Facebook and put Terry Ilous, and that's it, or TikTok, or that's Instagram. And I usually reply pretty fast because I like to be in touch with the fans and the friends. I like to reply because I'm grateful to still have fans. You know, I'm not a young chicken, you know, and I'm grateful to have fans. And every time I have the opportunity to talk to them, or to I don't know, to get you know, when I meet them, or when I can give them a free pass or something to a show, why not? You know, I just gave 10 passes in last Saturday because some people didn't have either money or you know, they were going through hard times, or so I just said, sure, if you don't have a pass, here you go, I'll give you a pass. Why not? It doesn't cost me a dime, and I have the passes. Why not?
Exactly. Well, Terry, one last question before we play Dead or Alive, the video here, to wrap this up. And this has nothing to do with music. It's just something that is driving me crazy, and me and Erik have joked about it. Early in your career, when I first met you, I swear on a stack of Bibles, your last name was Ilous. And now it's Ilous. Did you change your name, or am I just nuts?
Yeah, my name is, you want to hear a funny story? When I started my career,
Mandela effect.
When I started my career, I was fascinated. I've always loved Sylvester Stallone, and my first album, very first EP, I called myself Terry Stallone. I swear to God, I ripped him off, but I put an E at the end, so it would be Terry Stallone. I was looking for a name because people said, "Oh, you look like a Sylvester Stallone." I'm like, "Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, I look like Rocky." Yeah,
I was gonna say Paunch.
Yeah. So
I was gonna go with Paunch.
I look like, how you doing? You know, so I look like him. So because I was boxing at the time, like, so I stole his last name, but no, my real name is Ilous. Ilous.
All right. Well, I promise I'm never going to say it wrong again. So one more time, it is Terry Ilous. Got it. The new single that is out there is All or Nothing is the band. Dead or Alive is the video. And Terry, as always, man, it's great catching up with you. And thank you for coming on Chris Akin Presents.
You guys are great. One more thing is,
sure.
I really support you. I really appreciate your support, what you're doing, helping the bands, not just my band, but everybody else in the music scene. I thank you very, very much, because without you, I mean, we can release so many songs, but without you guys, I mean, you know, you're there to promote them and everything. And as an artist, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
All good. Well, Terry, here it is. We're going to check it out right now. It is Dead or Alive. It is All or Nothing right here on Chris Akin Presents.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Hey everybody, it's Chris Akin from all the shows, and wanted to share with you one of my other passions other than music. That, of course, being coffee. Anybody that's listened to me knows that I love coffee. And I have found another great brand, ladies and gentlemen, that you guys need to check out. Simply named, no gimmicks to it at all. It's just Coffee Brand Coffee. It's fantastic coffee, and I am not kidding you. They have everything that you would possibly want. Their coffee is excellent. I like the Roaster's Choice, but they have the pumpkin spice and all that other stuff, all the flavored stuff that you might like. They've got K-Cups for you. They've got cold brews. They offer tea. They've got cocoa. They literally have everything that you would want. So if you're looking for a great coffee, if you don't want to just settle for the crap that they sell you at the grocery store, this is another fine alternative. Coffee Brand Coffee. Just go to www.bit.ly/CMS Coffee. One more time, bit.ly/CMS Coffee, and use the coupon code CMSPN to save a little bit of money. And you can get some of the best coffee that is available today. So one more time, it is Coffee Brand Coffee. We love it here at the Classic Metal Show, and you will too. So get some today, folks. Coffee Brand Coffee. That's right. Get some today, folks. What a horrible read that is. Jesus Christ. With the stupid piano thing behind it. But, dude, I didn't realize you knew Terry.
You didn't realize that I knew him?
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Well, I didn't think I did.
You do. Look, there's this picture of you and him.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about Ponch a second ago. No, Terry, he was rocking the actual. He looked more like Ponch than Ponch does here.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does look more like Ponch.
Terry looked like Erik Estrada circa 1979.
Sure.
You know, but yeah, but little known to the public, Erik Estrada is also my bodyguard, and I had him come out. Yeah, I had him come out to Palm Springs for the show just to
take care of you.
Yeah, keep the Rat Mania fans away.
That's right. Very nice, man. Well, dude, we did better than the law of averages. We had 4 live interviews scheduled and 3 of them showed. That's good.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty good. 3 showed and they were all on time, and one of them was actually early.
I'm kind of glad one canceled because my podcast vagina was a little stretched out there. Yeah.
Well, I would have liked to talk to Brett, but you know, I don't know what happened there. But whatever, shit happens.
Well, Chris,
yes.
You haven't said anything about my backdrop tonight.
I was going to get there. I was curious what that is all about.
Guess who crashed his car today?
You did? Or your no, your chick did?
Today. No,
you crashed yours, or your chick crashed hers?
I crashed my car. And I did it because I was leaving our underground parking, and it has like a gated thing, and I was about to pull out and leave, and I realized I didn't have my car phone charger.
Okay.
And I was like, shit. And so I go, I'll just drive in reverse back, man, you know, and I'm pulling it back, and I got about 5 feet, and I didn't see this pole that's there. That's like a cement pole.
Right.
And I just totally backed into this thing. And whenever you back into like either a brick wall or a cement, you know, pole, your car is just gonna munch. There's no give. And I have a Nissan Rogue, which has been a great car for the most part, but the backup camera lacks a little bit. It has like each side has a little blind spot.
Okay.
And if you happen to be kind of backing up while turning a little bit, which is what I was trying to do there,
right,
there's a good 2 foot amount that you cannot see, and you would have to actually turn your head back. But when you're looking in the camera, you think you're good.
Okay.
But you actually have to, you know, pick one or the other. You can't actually look at the camera. In some cases, if you're going to be turning, you're better off actually turning around and looking. Because I hit that. It was like, gosh, crackle. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I thought I hit somebody's car because there's the parking's pretty tight in there.
Sure.
And as I pulled away, I turned around and I didn't see any cars. I'm like, oh my God, I hit that damn pole. Because I usually park on the lower level, and because I had to leave for a few days, I parked in Susan's space, which is on the second one. So, I mean, I guess the good news is I didn't hit anybody else's car. They didn't say anything to me, and I think a lot of people have hit that thing. You know, you could see. You can see the pole.
The pole though. How's the car?
Oh, the car looks like a fucking can opener went to the back corner of it. It like pulled the back bumper like off it a little bit, so it's kind of like ripped and smack on the back end. So cosmetically, it looks like shit.
Will you fix it or no?
I'm not gonna fucking fix it. This has been a work, car for me.
Okay.
Like, because I've probably said on the show before, but like when I'm not doing gigs or what have you, I'll do deliveries, independent deliveries in there and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing's been munched. Like, so many bad things has happened to that car since the pandemic. For fans that don't remember, I had a crazy woman attack me at a traffic light, and she kicked in my door. I had another situation where the sun was blinding me, and I cracked into some other pole a little bit. I had an incident where I got tires at Discount Tire, and when I was after I got my tires and I was getting ready to leave, an employee was pulling another customer's car and just backs it into mine, which was already munched anyway, but he backed it in, and that time I guess I could have had my car fixed, but I just took the cash at the time.
Right.
It was just whatever, just because this was again a work vehicle, and the thing's paid for itself over the year. I've had it for like 4 years, and I've used it to make a good amount of money on the side.
How many miles?
Oh, now it has like over 100,000 miles on it.
Oh yeah, so
I still have at least another year of payments on it, but I mean, that damage there would be in the probably $3,000 to $5,000 range to I don't even have to go get an estimate to know that. But if there was any silver lining,
if you're making payments on it,
right,
wouldn't it just cost you like the deductible and to fix it
on my insurance?
Yeah.
Yes, but man, this is my experience with insurance. When you make any kind of claim, you think, oh, great, for about 6 months, and then all of a sudden your insurance premium like doubles or triples, and no matter where you go, they're all in cahoots, and they're going to charge you that huger amount because there was a payout involved, and that really does add up over time. It'll be, I guess it would have to be over a certain amount of damage to consider such a thing, because you will pay back that $3,000 or $5,000 just in premiums.
I'm going to tell you how you get out of that, dude. And this is from experience fairly recently.
I'm all ears, Chris.
You get the car fixed.
Okay.
First of all, you pay the $500 or $1,000 or whatever.
I think it's $1,000 of my deductible for sure.
Whatever the deductible is. If it's $5,000, you go get that car fixed.
Okay.
And if nothing else, you can sell the car.
Right.
Once the payments are done, you can sell the car and probably get, especially in today's market, probably get $8 more grand off of it if it's under 150,000 miles.
Okay.
Get them to fix it. You go about 2 to 3 months. You switch insurance companies before that's had time to jump in there, and you will stay at the low rate. In fact, you will go down in your insurance rate. I'm going to tell you.
I feel like I've tried this and it just didn't.
You did it wrong somewhere, because
okay, all right.
I'll tell the story. I don't care who hears it. I had one insurance company on the CMS. I told this story, but it is a very true, scary fucking story. I was driving down the highway. The fucking latch on my hood broke.
Oh yeah, I love this story.
And it flipped up, and I was absolutely blind at 70 miles an hour.
This is full Black
speed
Sheep.
on the. Yeah, it was fucking scared the shit out of me. And I got off the road as quick as I could, but God forbid, if there would have been a car broke down on the side of the road, I was dead, because I would have hit it at anywhere from 30 to 70 miles an hour. I would have hit it dead straight on. And of course, I wasn't wearing a seatbelt or anything, so I'd have gone right through the window. Probably got knocked back in by the windshield or by the hood. Probably would have knocked me right back into my chair, but it did a shit ton of damage. When it popped up, it ripped up the, how most hoods now, they only open like that far instead of all the way back. They only open so far.
Right.
This ripped that shit right out. The wind from hitting it at 70 miles an hour ripped it right out. So it tore up the two quarter panels, the front quarter panels, just ripped holes in the quarter panels. So they had to replace the hood and the latch and the two quarter panels and the roof of my car, because the thing hit so hard that it dented the roof where the roof met the windshield.
Okay.
And the windshield. So basically, they gave me damn near a whole front end of a car.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, I'm looking at my car, and up until today, before today, if the actual bumper part got replaced, it would have taken care of 3 of the bad things that have happened in the last 2 years. But today, this thing actually caught the body above and pushed it away from there. So it's it would actually need body work.
Yeah.
And I'm going, man, this piece looks like the whole one piece of the car, of the top and the other. Like, what are they doing?
They might have to replace it, and tough shit for them. That's their fucking problem. But now here's what I did. I got it fixed. And once I got it fixed, then I went and I went online to one of them fucking companies that says, we'll find you the cheaper insurance rate. This is like maybe 2 months after it was all paid for and everything. And it was all paid off, and I switched companies, and I went to the new company, and I went from State Farm to Liberty Mutual. So it's 2 legit companies. It's not like fucking, hey, it's the General, Are you a piece of shit that can't
Is
drive?
the General bad?
General.
I've heard those commercials.
Oh yeah, they're awful. They're if you can't get insurance anywhere else, the General will still give you insurance. That's what the General is. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm sure
I've had all kinds of bad ones. Freeway. It's that thing you're speeding on.
I remember I had one once that was like, it ended up not even being an insurance company. It was a total scam. It was, dude. I bought so stupid when I was living out in Cali. I went to a car dealer in Seaside, California, and I bought an Audi 5000S. It was a nice ride. And I could not afford. I could not afford this fucking ride. But I got the insurance, signed all the pay, and I did it in the car dealer. 6 months later, I'm watching the news with the ex, and they're like, in news today, owner of blah 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 Toyota was arrested for fraud and blah blah, and I'm like, oh no, and I called my insurance company, and I said, because I watched the thing, and they talked about how they had fraudulently done loans and fraudulently done insurance and fraudulently done everything. So I called the insurance company the next day, and they're like, yeah, you don't have a policy with us. And I was like, how long have I not had insurance? They're like, you've never been insured with us. And I was like,
where's my money been going then?
To this guy, because I was sending the check I was dumb. I was like 19 years old or whatever. And I instead of sending it to, I think it was Prudential or whatever at the time that they were scamming me out of, instead of sending a check to Prudential Insurance, I was sending the check to XYZ car company. This fucking, I was sending it, and they allegedly were paying it. I was too dumb to understand that. And I had a policy.
I wasn't dumb, because there is, like, even Nissan, I think, offers insurance now, so that's not preposterous that you would be doing such a thing if they said they were affiliated with that insurance company.
I just didn't know what I was doing. And sure as shit, I had paid like, I don't know, a year.
Right. $1,000,
$2,000. I had paid for a year, and then they were jacking me for full coverage insurance because I was making payments on the car. So it's probably like, I was 19, 20 years old at the time. So I was paying probably $260 a month or some shit for a fucking Audi.
So let me ask you something. Back up a second. So are you saying that once my car's paid off, I should have the car fixed right at that point? And
no,
then
I'm saying now.
Do it now. Fixed. But then switch insurance companies while I still own the car, or to get rid of the car right away?
Absolutely, because then they'll lock you in on a lower payment.
I just started my next 6 months. I think just renewed right now.
Dude, they'll kick you back the money.
Right. No, I'm not worried about that. But so I'll say I make a claim this week. They go, okay, and they know they have to. It is full coverage, so I think they would. I think have to fix it in that situation. Yeah.
And so get them to fix it, and then you switch.
Okay.
Dude, think about. I say this all the time. I say it to my daughter, especially all the time, because she's always looking to make the deal. And there's certain companies that you just don't have any allegiance to, none. And insurance is one of them. Insurance.
I've been paying this company for a good 2-3 years. They haven't done shit for me.
Yeah, but does it matter? Insurance does not matter to you.
No, I hate them. They got such a great deal that they can.
They fuck you. They fuck you, and the best you can do is fuck them a little tiny bit back on the way out the door.
And I'm not. I mean, that's what it's for.
No,
What's
that's
the
what
point
you're
of having
paying
full
for.
coverage if you're not going to fix my car when I crash it?
Dude, I went through, and it's why I left my last insurance company. I have my car and my house all wrapped into the same, thing, the same insurance, the
Big Bubba
homeowners
insurance.
Yeah, it's all wrapped into one. It's fucked. So when I signed up for the insurance company, I asked them specifically, "Will you handle my roof?" Yes. So my roof started leaking. Called the insurance company. No. And I was like, "What are you fucking talking about?" They're like, "Well, we never told you that." I was like, "The fuck you didn't." It's the only reason I signed up with your goddamn company, because I had a fucking 17-year-old roof. I knew at some point I was going to need a roof. That's why I signed up for your fucking company. "Oh, no, sir. We never said that." I was like, "You motherfuckers." And I literally changed insurance that day. I was like, "Fuck you, you cocksucking fuckbags."
So then the next company, did they agree that they would in turn fix your roof if something happened, or no?
No, but at least I knew then.
That no one does, really.
Nobody does. I came out my pocket $7,700 and fucking put a new roof on my house.
And anywhere where it snows, it seems like the roof is a big fucking deal. Like here in California, Southern California, that's not a thing so much.
Because you could live without a roof. It doesn't matter. I mean, the only thing the roof does for you is keeps bugs out. It doesn't.
Yeah, we get when it rains, it leaks. We get our leaks on the older buildings.
Which is how often a year? 3 times? 5 times?
Normally, I'd say yeah. And they really push the drought thing here and try to tax our water on all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Nestle's like pulling, hundreds of millions of gallons of water out of here, and they're allowing that, taxing us, the people.
Mm-hmm.
But they're having trouble even telling us it's been raining a lot. That's where I'm going with this. We've had so much storms and rain, and now they can't say the drought bullshit anymore.
Right.
I don't know what's causing all this. Maybe they are.
It's global warming, man. Climate change. Climate change. Ugh. Horrible. All right, man. Let's get the fuck out of here. Not that we've done a lot of talking.
Whoa, hey now. Whoa.
Go ahead.
I was going to show something from the show.
Okay, please do.
And you're selling me a little short here, Chris, tonight.
That's okay. Bring it on.
We almost need some 2001 Space Odyssey music,
Would you like to be the big screen here so that you can?
Yeah.
All right. Let me move you over to here, and I will. Wow, there you are.
Hi, everyone. So, in Palm Springs, I was able to have Susan take up something that I needed our friends to help out and sign. As you guys know, I had my medical emergency.
That's right.
Back 6 months ago. And at that moment, I wasn't insured. Right when I got home, a few days later, I started all the stuff and was able to fortunately get some insurance. So I've been able to get my treatments and everything have been covered. But now that we're 6 months in, not only am I getting bills from the hospital, but I never actually directly got them. Because I think I moved within that 2 weeks. I never got any bills. So now I'm just getting in collections for stuff, which is a bummer. And I'm just kind of paying them as they go. And I was like, shit, maybe I can get some friends to help me out. And my idea was, I have a couple guitars, one which I actually in the pandemic had upgraded myself, and I'm going to show everybody this guitar. But the coolest part of the story is I was able to get some really cool autographs this weekend. But
nice.
Here's the box. Wait.
All right.
So I'm going to open this up.
See what
take a look. Now I don't know how we're going to go about auctioning this off, not to spoil what's going to happen, but we got here.
Look at this thing.
Behold,
wow.
A Kramer guitar.
Wow, look at that. Who else signed this thing?
Now, I can tell you, I know Stephen Piercy signed it.
Yeah, I saw Piercy.
I know Erik Ferentinos signed it. I'm looking here and I see a guy you might have heard of. He was a singer for Motley Crue. His name's Vince Neil.
Wow.
Vince signed it. There's a guy here that I have been aware of ever since he played with Vinnie Vincent. On the boys gonna rock. They're never gonna stop. Dana Strum.
Dana Strum. Look at that.
Jeff Blando.
Wow.
Who's the awesome guitarist for this is the first time looking at this since I handed it over to them, but this is so cool that they actually did all this. We got Jeff Blando of Slaughter. We got Zoltan.
Okay, Zoltan
Chaney. He put he has a hey, what is Psalm 18:2? Can we look that up?
We can.
Because that was Zoltan put that on there. I'm looking at Scott Coogan, who people may know. He played drums, of course, for Stephen Pearcy. He played on the View to a Thrill record with us as well. He was Ace Frehley's drummer for a long time. Lita Ford, LA Guns, Tiffany.
Wow.
So he has a pretty prolific career. Matt Thorne, who played. Yeah, Matt Thorne recorded the Pearcy records. He's most known for being in Rough Cut.
Right.
And Matt came out and played these couple shows with us this weekend. So I'll let them continue to kind of check out how awesome this is. And we'll show this for the next couple episodes because I got to figure out a way we can do an auction on this because I've never done anything like this before.
Like me and you, like putting it up or whatever.
Yeah, like figuring out a way we can do it to see what it does. Because I didn't do. A lot of people run out and do fundraisers right away, and I really didn't know what was going on. I was trying my and I'm still trying to see what I could do. As far as I don't know if amnesty is the right word, but to get some kind of relief or something, because it's when you're a musician, man, it's a tough life. There's times where we might do okay if we're getting a lot of shows, but with the pandemic, it was tough, and I was barely getting by as it is. I didn't have insurance or anything at the time, and so it does suck here these months later to get not only hit because I think it's because I moved or whatever. I'm just getting these collection agency stuff, and they're all these like different bills. Just says inpatient services, and I'm trying to like pay for them as they go. So I just thought, well, I don't want to just ask for something. So I thought maybe an auction would be more appropriate, where the people would be getting a cool piece of rock memorabilia here, because I want to give something. I don't want to just take something. You know what I mean? So
this is to help clean up your fucking medical.
Yeah,
mess.
this is to keep me from, because I worked so hard. And besides struggling, I do have a great credit score. You know what I mean? I spent the last 6 years getting my life together, and I got like 800 credit score. Well, I was gonna like throw that away right now because of my heart attack. It's like,
yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sweeten this pot. Me and you will talk maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. I will sweeten the pot with some more shit that I have here because I don't collect anything. So I have.
Yeah, like that's awesome, dude. I mean,
I have tons of shit that like just laying around right here.
Me too.
I have this. I don't know what you call this. This metal sign signed by John Arch from Fate's Warning, I think.
Oh wow.
Or somebody from Fate's Warning. Ray Alder from Fate's Warning. I have that. I obviously have copies of my book that I can sign, my various books that I can sign and give you.
Awesome.
I have this that I've been just fucking holding on to forever. This Soulfly box set. I mean, it's an album set. It's a vinyl box set with their first 5 albums on it. That I have nothing to. What am I gonna?
I know I have some cool stuff too, and I do have more guitars too. But I thought, I'd start with one, and since it was a special weekend, Vince Neil, Stephen Pearcy, they used to be known as the Bordello Brothers.
Sure.
Back in 1984 on the Sunset Strip, when Motley Crue and Rat first started out, and they were house bands at Gazzari's, and they play all the time. Right. And obviously first Motley took off, and then Rat. But this was special for them to play shows together. We got to play 2 shows this weekend. I go, this is the weekend that I should bring a guitar up and see what we could do here. And I'm sure this would be special to someone. So we'll figure out how we're gonna get an auction, see where we get those numbers at. We'll throw
I can build an auction on the website if we need to.
I was hoping you could.
eBay.
I think,
I
yeah, I don't.
I don't want to pay fucking eBay and give them
No,
10%
fuck
of the
them.
fucking sale. Fuck that.
I hate eBay. I don't use
make
them
it
anymore.
we'll make it so the only thing that we got to pay is the fucking credit card processing fee.
Yeah, my collection agent.
Yeah, fuck them. I know you don't want to ruin your credit score, but if it's already with the agency, then it's already been written off. So
Yeah,
no
I'm
offense, I
trying to
wouldn't
figure out
pay.
what's going on. The good news is that everything's now covered. So like I'm getting my medications and all that good stuff is taken care of now. So as far as now in the future, everything's good. It's just the emergency that I had for the people that didn't know. In July 15th, I had a heart attack after our show that we were playing in Ohio that night, and so I was spent about 3 days in the emergency room. It was a close call. But I did recover and I'm doing great now, and just trying to take care of this, extenuating bills here.
I have a bunch of shit here. I mean, literally a bunch, but I have nothing to do with it. Literally, it's just scattered all over this room, because I just move it from pile to pile to pile. The shit. I mean,
I do. I have some other cool stuff too. So maybe it's time, because I mean, it's just for me. Even though some stuff around here I probably would have kept forever, it's just stuff. And I'm not going to be here forever, so whatever. Let's auction that shit.
We'll auction it off. That's fine with me.
And this will be over the next. This isn't tomorrow or whatever. We'll build it and figure it out and sweeten it up.
We'll build it first. We'll build it. We'll make it work. We'll promote it for a month, and then we'll go.
Awesome, brother. I appreciate that so much.
Make this shit work. So, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. I've already done 4 hours. I've done 4 hours again tonight. 10 hours since Saturday.
I know you're tuckered out, Chris. We get it.
I am. I'm tired. I am tired. But next week on Chris Akin Presents, we are doing Rockin' Pod Week. Next week, we are going to have the creator and organizer of Rockin' Pod, Mr. Chris Sinzak, is going to be here to chat a little bit about this year's Rockin' Pod and everything that's going on with that thing, as well as my good friend. I think you know this guy too. I think everybody knows this guy. Mr. Ron Keel is going to be here. Ron is going to be here to talk about Keel Fest, where you can see kind of like the reunion-ish type stuff of Ron Keel or Keel and Ron Keel Band and Steeler and all that stuff, which is going to be part of Rockin' Pod. So they will be checking in to talk about that stuff and whatever the fuck else we talk about at the time. So what do you got going? You got gigs this week or no?
No, our next gig will actually be with Slaughter.
Okay.
So I'll see Dana and Blando and likely Zoltan again, I would think.
Yeah.
And that's going to be on February 11th in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
At the Rooftop Live.
A few weeks from
now.
Right.
So that's a couple weeks away, and there is some other stuff I'll be promoting too, show wise, coming up. I know at the end of the month we're at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. And there's another gig too, and I'm never prepared for that. I know. I just know them one at a time. Next one's the Houston one.
All right. Well, then
Slaughter.
People are Texas fans. Make sure you get out there to the Houston gig.
Tejas.
For Slaughter and Stephen Sir Piercy. And as far as I'm concerned, I won't be doing much of anything this week except for work. And if you are so inclined, tomorrow, on the one day that we do not do a new episode of Chris Akin Presents with you and I, Erik, tomorrow will be my interview with Ronnie Romero of Michael Schenker Group and Rainbow. And, he's been in a zillion bands. He has a new solo record called Raised on Heavy Radio. We talked at length about his tour with Michael Schenker. So those of you that are interested in Michael Schenker, you will get some information there. Classic Metal Show, obviously on Saturday. talktomepod.com. That'll be out on Thursday. I think that's all my projects.
My new podcast, Water Your Thoughts. With it's a watering can. It has a Water Your Thoughts ?
Shape the spout on the can like a question mark. So
water your thoughts. with Erik Ferentinos.
Yeah, there you go. It's wet and lovely. All right, now my CMS dirty brain jumping in there.
You dirty birdie.
Exactly. All right, let's get fuck out of here. So, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thanks for listening during the week. And for Chris Akin Presents, I have been Chris Akin.
And I'm Erik Ferentinos.
And we are the fuck out of here. See ya.
Bye, everybody.